Hi, everyone. This is a little bit of a different episode format to normal. I was in a board meeting. I'm on the board of a company called VenueNow, and Dave from VenueNow was doing a presentation on how he's using a tool called Relevance AI, which is a whole series of different agents that have been strung together quite effectively on the face of it, at least. And afterwards, I asked if he would meet with Duncan so Duncan can have a little bit of a look. Duncan's on the Tribe team, our internal data scientist, and helping build out some AI tools. And Dave presented it, and I thought it could be some good content to share because founders and investors, it can be hard sometimes to find the time and space to look at some of these tools. Have had to delete a bit of commercial in confidence stuff. So there's a few points where a few bits are missing. We don't want Jake's competitors getting too much of a jump on what we're doing, and some of the conversation where Duncan goes into some of the detail with the team. So he had to cut, but I think there's enough here to make a little bit of an interesting episode. All right, tell us what you think.
Yeah, how did you find this tool?
There's this really good guy, his name's Ben AI on YouTube. This guy is doing a bunch of videos around how you can use AI agents to automate various tasks, which I know you've been talking about a lot, Don. So yeah, I watched his videos and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then the main tool that he's been using in his videos is this Relevance AI tool, which turns out it's a startup from Surrey Hills, which is pretty cool as well. But yeah, what they've basically done is created this software where you can string together various workflows, a bunch of different agents that do like very specific jobs. So you can have an agent that like scrapes a website. You can have an agent that researches blog content. You can have another agent that writes blog content. Like you can create all these agents that have very specific jobs. And with the examples,
And have you compared this against, I think it was Decider that I may have shared with?
I haven't used Decider yet.
But it sounds like the architecture is similar. There's like a collection of multiple agents that have been designed to do specific things that, but it sounds like Relevance is then stringing together the agents.
Yeah. And a few of the examples that this guy on YouTube has done is like you almost create an organization of agents. So you have, for example, an SEO manager agent, and then under that agent you have like all the other sub agents that have very specific jobs, and they're communicating to each other to get all these jobs done. So I thought that was very cool.
So this Ben AI person on YouTube that he talks about, I thought I might just drop in a few minutes of one of his videos, which will give a little bit of context to what he's doing, given that I've had to cut a bit of the commercial in confidence discussion between Duncan and Dave and Jake. So hopefully adding this in adds a little bit more value later.
Hey everyone, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to build a no-code sales agent that can research leads, make personalized calls, qualify the leads over the phone, then update your CRM, and even send personalized follow-ups through WhatsApp, email, and LinkedIn, all on autopilot. This might sound complicated, but it's actually quite a simple setup and can be built almost entirely within Relevance AI. Now, I built this system for my own inbound sales funnel, but this agent can also be used for outbound sales. And in this video, I'll give you a demo and a full step-by-step breakdown of the system, and the template will be available for free in my free community. Now, if you don't know me yet, I'm Ben. I've been implementing AI automations and AI agents into businesses since 2023, and I also run a community with over 3,000 members now. And if you're a business looking to adopt AI into your business, you can also book us in for a free call in the description below. So I'll first give you a quick demo. Now, this agent, in my case, is getting triggered from my lead form on my website. So basically, if someone needs an automation project or an AI project, I ask them to go to the lead form, right, to get a little bit more information, and of course, to get their contact information. So let's just put in an example. So basically, I ask a few questions, right? In which area do you want to implement AI? So let's say sales. Now, let's just take a random example. Let's do Airbnb, airbnb.com. Right now, I tried to get a little bit more information on what the projects are, what they're looking for. Now, a lot of times I'm not getting very clear answers. So let's just put a sort of a vague answer. Sales automations. And then of course I ask for their contact details. Now as soon as I click submit, my AI agent is triggered, and basically the first thing he's going to do is research the lead. So it's going to research the lead, find LinkedIn, find the company LinkedIn, and then the second thing he does is actually researching the company too. And based on that research outcome, it's basically going to write a personalized call script, and it also has access to a voice calling tool. So it will then call with that personalized call script, and basically the purpose of that call is two things: is first to get a little bit more information on what project they're looking for, so I can prepare better for the meeting and also see if we're a good fit. And second, it's also a little bit of a qualification because we actually ask for their budget. And depending on the outcome of that call, if they're qualified or not, if they're qualified, we actually follow up with them through WhatsApp, email, and even LinkedIn to book a meeting with me or my team. And if they're not qualified, we might refer them to someone else who might fit their needs better or their project better. Now, I'm probably going to get a call in a few seconds. So I'm getting in a call right now. So let's take it.
Hi, is this Brian?
Hey, yes, this is Brian.
Hi, Brian. I'm Robert, Ben's AI assistant. We saw your request for automation services. Ben asked me to reach out to you to ask a few quick questions so Ben can prepare as best as possible for a meeting. Do you have time for a quick 3-minute chat?
Yeah, I do.
Great. I noticed you're the co-founder of Airbnb, a company that's revolutionized the way people travel and connect. Like you mentioned that you're interested in sales automations. Could you share more about the specific processes or challenges you're looking to address with the automation?
Yeah, I'm actually looking to implement an outbound email system that does personalized outreach.
Thank you for that, Brian. Is there anything else that you're thinking of automating?
Yeah, actually, we're also thinking of doing some marketing automation, specifically maybe content creation for LinkedIn.
Great. Ben also instructed me to inform you that his services start at a fee of $3,000. Does that fit within your budget right now?
Yeah, that should work fine.
Perfect. Thank you for taking the time, Brian. I'll report this information to Ben right away. He will reach out to you shortly to book a call. Have a great day, Brian.
Thank you. So as you can see, it sort of personalized that first part. And now as I'm sort of qualified, right, I'm going to receive a WhatsApp soon and an email with a follow-up. So let me check. You can see I got an email, right? Hi, Brian, Ben here. Thanks for taking the call with my voice assistant. He just told me you're looking for sales automations. We'd love to jump on a call to learn more. Here's my Calendly link. And let's check if I got a WhatsApp too. But here you go. Hi, Brian, Ben here. Thanks for taking the call with my voice assistant. He told me you're looking to implement an outbound email system for personalized outreach. So it actually took that information from the call, right? And marketing automation for content creation on LinkedIn. Seems like an interesting project for us, right? We'd love to jump on a call to learn more. Here's my Calendly link. Now, it also sends a LinkedIn invite with a message. Hey, again, thanks for taking the time to call. I just send you a WhatsApp message with a follow-up, right? So that's the system very quickly.
I appreciate that's not going to solve for every business listening to this podcast. I think it's pretty impressive the way the workflow goes from lead into phone call to qualify and share some information. I like the fact that it clarifies up front that this is an AI agent, but it's still conversational. I think it's pretty easy. And then all that information goes back into the CRM, and then the sales agent goes and finds all of the information relevant. So by the time the salesperson has gotten that lead, this agent has done a hell of a lot of the work. All right, let's get back to the discussion with the VenueNow guys. So can you give us the little overview of what you gave me in the board meeting?
Yeah, sure can. Screen 2. Okay, can you see that? They've got these things called agents, and then they've got these things called tools. So tools are basically like a string of agents, whereas agents have their own specific job. So they've got a bunch of different templates that their users and their own team have created. But the one that I was specifically interested in was this one where you can scrape and summarize website content. So very simple example. I've written here an objective for the scrape. So the example I have here is doing research on venues. So put that in as an input. And then it's got this other step here, which is extract web content. So a lot of scrapers, they'll just look at like the homepage, for example. But the benefit of this tool that they've got, you can actually get it to crawl the website with like different parameters. So it's using this other tool called Appify. You can say go 3 levels deep on the website and bring back a maximum of 15 pages. So like this is what it looks like if it was just to look at the homepage, but crawling the entire site, it brings back multiple URLs in a table with text for each one of those pages. So a lot more information to analyze.
And the context here is that you guys have VenueNow. You're trying to create an environment where someone can find the right venue for them.
Yeah.
And what you're trying to do is have an AI tool that goes out and analyzes these venue websites to see if they are the kind of venue that you guys want, rather than in the past you've had a human go to the website and try and work that shit out.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've in the past done a bunch of different research strategies, but I think the benefit of this is like actually analyzing the website content and getting a lot more information than just say Google Maps, for example. And it's the venue's own content. It adds a lot of context to what type of venues we're trying to look at. So yeah, what you can then do is pass that table of data into an LLM. In this case, it's got OpenAI's. You can choose which model you're using. So it's using 4.0 mini for this one. So here's the prompt that you give OpenAI. So here's the website content, basically inserts the table of data. Here's your task. So here's the content from this website. Here's the objective, which it gets from above. And I've said here, I want you to extract these key pieces of information and put it in a JSON object. So that matches up with the objective that I gave it before. So here's an example of what it output. So that's
very cool.
I was pretty like blown away that one, it was able to get that information in the first place, but it's extracted that from, it's summarized it, and it's like output it in a JSON object. So obviously you can do a lot once you have the data in that format. You can sync it into a database, for example, which hopefully we can do in our
hey Dave,
in our case.
That's awesome. So this test that you did, is this that tool output? Is it in the structure you need?
I just did a very like basic example. I'm just saying like put it in a JSON object with these data points, but yeah, I wasn't too specific around like how to structure the data, but I'm sure if you gave it the right prompts with how you wanted it, it would output it correctly.
It's good that you did your own example. That's great.
But what I'd recommend doing is looking at this guy's videos, because he's got a few really good examples of different use cases. One of which the task was to make the process of qualifying inbound leads for a sales team much more efficient. So he basically hooked it up to a contact form. That email address came into HubSpot, then had an agent that extracted the domain from the email. It would then do a Google search to find the company's LinkedIn URL. It then found like all the information about the company, then found people at the company on LinkedIn, and then it like summarized all that information, put it back into HubSpot, and created like a personalized call script for their sales team. So you can do a bunch of different stuff when you kind of string all these different agents together. Pretty blown away just on that very simple example, but yeah, I'm keen to try and automate like my whole life with this thing.
And you say this is coming out of a local startup?
Yeah, they're based in Sydney.
Wow.
Very young team as well. So I think they're like
very cool to see.
Founders like 25 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, they just raised 15 mil. The other thing you can do with Relevance AI is you can set up a knowledge database. So say you had a customer service agent, you can like upload all your FAQs or all the information about your website, for example, and your services and all that kind of stuff, and say to the agent, like, only reference stuff, like first priority, reference stuff that's in the knowledge base. Second priority, like try and solve that another way. So yeah, there's ways to do that as well.
Okay, cool. I will do more investigation on this platform, but I was just wondering, do you know where it's keeping all the data?
That's a great question, which I haven't investigated.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I can do that for you guys. That's, as a data architect, that's one of the first questions I ask. So, in using it, what are the long-term effects? Are you tied into this ecosystem? Do you own your data? Is your data being shared?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you abandon ship later down the line, or are you stuck?
Yeah. Great questions.
So Duncan did do some investigation of the product and was happy with what he saw in terms of how the data's stored, being able to get out of the ecosystem, the data security. And so we did a pass for the team to sort of check it out, and were happy with what we found. They then went on to some fairly commercial in confidence items, which I've cut, but we now pick up in a more broader discussion on AI in business development and other parts of the business, and then progresses into a general AI conversation.
I think the applications in like business development are pretty clear as well. Jake just said there, I think like in my past life, I did that quite a bit, automated parts of that process. But I think with these new tools, you can take that to the extreme, which is scary, but also cool at the same time.
Now, whilst Tribe Ventures isn't invested directly in VenueNow because we're a B2B VC, I am personally invested in VenueNow. And as the editor of the podcast, I'm able to abuse my position and do a little shout out to VenueNow.
Typical you, always abusing your position.
That's me. So can you tell the listeners at home, what is VenueNow, what does it do, and who is your ideal client?
Awesome. So VenueNow.com is Australia's largest venue finding website. We help everyone look for amazing venues, whether it be for a birthday, a wedding, a conference, or a Christmas party. We've been around for some time. We've helped over 150,000 customers find a venue. And we typically play in the corporate space. So we get a lot of businesses looking for a venue, mainly for conferences and Christmas parties and award dinners all around the country. If you're a business needing help finding a venue, jump onto VenueNow.com where you can search for a venue, or you can also receive complimentary assistance from our team who will help you with the whole venue finding process and make your life so much easier.
Nothing worse than trying to do your job and then go and organise all the stuff for an event, and VenueNow makes that easy. VenueNow.com.
Thanks, Don.
So Duncan, off the top of your head, because you investigated Decider, what stands out as the differences there to you?
I would need to do an apples and apples sort of comparison, which is something I've already noted you have to do. Look, very similar domain of tool, and these AI tools are super generic. We're discussing, how it can help your business and how it can help venture capital, finding them. It's basically just an information tool and a data integration tool. So Decide is the same, but this one certainly, I've just been watching their videos because I've only had 15 minutes with it so far, but watching their videos.
How much time do you need?
A little bit more.
Credit agent to watch the video for you.
Yeah, like an AI would have had this sorted already. Like, what do we...
Yeah. Well, I should be using my tool to scope this tool.
Are we talking to Duncan agent or is this the real Duncan? I just want to...
That's top secret.
That's the other like creepy thing with all this AI agent stuff is like I'm pretty sure with Relevance you can hook into like voice generation APIs and video generation APIs as well. So
yeah, that's coming. It's something
I fear for people in sales in the future.
Yeah, look, I think it's all a little bit immature at the moment, but the technology is certainly there, and it's having the foundational data that these tools are going to prepare that stuff's going to sit on top of, and yeah, it's definitely going to get there. I just don't know when.
But I think the scary part is it's the poor performers. Well, I think there's going to be a lot of fat cut in all organizations, because I don't think AI is going to take over, for example, sales context. It won't take over an entire sales team, but those low performers, that will go straight away. And you probably find bigger revenues, bigger profits across the board, hopefully.
Yeah.
But then the thing that you're going to have to contend with at some point, I'm not saying now, but given the way that what you're going to be using these tools for will one day get in the hands of others searching information. So at very least, you're going to have almost two interfaces. One is for human eyeballs, and one is how to be attracted to other agents. And I can see a world where there's going to be some stuff where it's like a web domain has some kind of flag up that says, "Hey, I'm agent friendly. Come to me," versus "Don't waste your time over there."
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because you've got
Standard
like
data interface for these types of automated things. And then who has the data? Who has the so this is why I asked that question, where is the data? Do we know? So if this platform, although it looks amazing, if it's harboring all the data and building up basically its own crunch base in the background on every given topic that it's people that are subscribing or scraping, if then they in future have the data on certain domains. And I think that will be emerging, is that companies that have the best source of data, like LinkedIn, like Crunchbase, like will be very successful in the future. The other thing is there's going to be diminishing returns with all this AI use. You're scraping data to generate data, then you're using the generated data. That's cool until you're eventually just scraping AI generated data. And then it's like,
I think
let's get the real good data.
Yeah, in the world of SEO, you're already starting to see the impact of that. So with the recent Google algorithm changes, they're demoting AI generated content and very much favoring real user content. I don't know how they're evaluating that, but yeah, it's already making a big impact in marketing in particular.
Yeah.
There's also
an imagery as well. Like Google somehow can figure out if an image is AI generated. If you're using real images versus AI generated, it's like downvoting the AI generated content as well.
It's such a band-aid approach. I look at the universities and they were so anti-AI. Now they're actually encouraging students, well, some unis anyway. I'm not sure in Queensland, I'm sure they're a bit backwards. Maybe this you guys for universities. But I know UNSW in Sydney, you'd be kicked out of the course if there was AI detected, and they're investing all this money in AI tools. Complete U-turn. And now saying we're encouraging you to use AI. I think Google will have to do the same. At some point, whether it's now or in 100 years, all content will have some sort of AI or AIG content over it. So there's probably a business in this of actually detecting it, but also measuring the quality of that AI generated data as well. I can see that being a big business in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just find it like super hypocritical of Google that they're demoting AI generated content and at the same time like monetizing AI generation through Gemini and other tools that they have. It's just it's funny.
Yeah.
I think SEO is dead in some respects. It's all going to be about optimizing for agents. So, and I think they need to get on that bandwagon. Like the one thing that I'm very fearful of for our business is Search GPT. As more and more people start using that and bypassing traditional Google and Bing and so forth, Bing maybe not so much because their relationship, but that is going to be I think there's going to be a lot of businesses that are going to literally overnight go from X million down to zero.
Yeah. I think if your business is like answering a question, then you're probably already dead. I think I was saying to you, Don, like I don't see like a chat interface, like text-based interface really taking over what we do, because it's a very visual medium, like comparing venues, etc. But I think the companies that will win that are using AI is, okay, how do you, leveraging the power of AI, make that kind of visual experience super, super personalized exactly for what that person wants, and like still make it interactive in some way and visual.
I
think that's going to be the winner.
I reckon people will have a personal interface to information that is groomed specifically for them. So you get up in the morning, I don't know when this will happen, but instead of visiting people's websites, you basically have an information portal that is bespoke for you. And it'll be very visual. It'll have audio. It'll have everything that you would expect from good web surfing experience, except it would be dynamically created by whoever gets there first. There will be a few new types of search engines, like you say, Search GPT will be that, but human orientated a bit more.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've been toying up with how we're going to be disrupted and working out, okay, like there's agents, but they still need to access data, but then also how you present that data back. But I also think that not everyone, like we've seen this, we offer a concierge service. Now, granted, it's very, very different. Now, hear me out. We offer, hey, we're going to do it for you. Tell us the parameters and tell the search input, we'll go and do it. But people love to do it themselves. They want that control. And so I still think it's more about, you tell the agent what to do, and they can present it back. There'll always be that doubt of, but what if I did it? Could I find something?
But that control in your world, I think, comes from fear. Because unless my eyes view exactly, is it going to suit my needs, whether it's a wedding or a corporate venue or a workshop, if there's some way of removing that fear, then you'll be all right.
Or that's fear/trust, right?
Yeah. Well, Google, right? We just trust that what Google presents to us is the best.
Yeah.
Is it? We know there's actually hundreds more, millions of more sites out there. We're just seeing the top 3 because that's what Google tells us is the best. I don't know if this is the right term, but first person data, like it's these reviews. When I see reviews, I think that's the gold mine. That's actually enriching that asset.
Yeah, if those reviews are high integrity, then great.
Yeah. It's funny. I've found myself never been a big Reddit fan, but over the past year, I've been using Reddit so much. I don't go on TripAdvisor even to an extent. I've been on Reddit because I'd rather get real human experience insights rather than reading a really good example. Don was Fiji, looking up these hotels. Now, you type in these hotels, there's these blog writers that are singing all the praises. It's meant to be an independent review.
Yeah.
Go on to Reddit or even Facebook, there's comments completely different. So I don't trust Google now because Google's actually not helping me.
I think there's a lot of data mistrust happening across everyone. They obviously get just the sheep that just take what they're fed, which is a lot. But otherwise, there's a lot of data mistrust.
But then incentivizing first-party data to do those reviews. Like, have you ever done a review on the podcast, Jay?
I think I have.
Only personally to you, Don.
Only personally to me in a text going, what is wrong with you? Is often one question. Where do you find this stuff? 2, you need help. 3.
There be spreads.
But I think you're right. If you in today's episode, we're talking about AI slop on LinkedIn. In a world where there's so much generated, you actually got to find the stuff that you trust, and that's relevance and reciprocity. It's relevant to me, and there's a reciprocity aspect because I know there's a human that's put some effort into it. The more you have stuff where you just know there's no effort in it, even if it's relevant, you're probably still going to discount it.
I think it's going to be really, really hard to figure that out over time as the AI models get more and more and more advanced. Like, how are you actually going to evaluate if that is genuinely human content or not?
But if it's highly relevant and you think it's helpful, then I guess maybe these things are like this balance at the moment.
Arguably, the AI generated content is more relevant and helpful than if a human with limited experience actually wrote it.
Well, I think the key thing with the AI, in my opinion, is being able to take all these different data points from all different sources and then finding the commonality amongst that. And like Amazon have got this really cool feature with their reviews now where they use AI to like go, most people have commented this and most didn't like it for this. So I actually look at that now rather than reading the reviews, because some of those reviews are incentivized and you can tell, like the really long ones are like, this is a blog post, but that AI gives that common thread. So then it comes down to, you just need a lot more data, a lot more sources. And that's probably the biggest secret. Anyway.
So over the holidays, as I go into all sorts of weird and wacky things around company culture, but often things, relationships, both at work, at home, and whatever else, and had some thoughts. And I wrote a blog, which I then put into ChatGPT to check and improve. And then I thought to myself, could you suggest some improvements? So it suggested something. So I said, could you please write a review? And then I went a little bit harder. I said, could you please write a negative review? This blog is an overly long, self-indulgent attempt to justify the writer's personal reflections, riddled with oversimplifications, stereotypes, anecdotal theories masquerading as insight. The tone is condescending. It claims the claims lack factual grounding, and the structure meanders with repetitive points and unnecessary links, making it exhausting to read and alienate anyone seeking balanced or meaningful advice.
Wow.
So, Jake, I've been on your board for 8 years. Has it got me pretty well?
I would invest in that. That is spot on. I
need to go back and say, make it like slightly less savage, please.
Yeah, no, I did. I went, ouch, that's harsh. Could you please try a positive review? And then it said, this blog is refreshingly honest and an introspective look. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's very hard. Sorry to interrupt. It's very hard to actually get an impartial answer from the AI, because it's not really intelligence. It's a word calculator. So every single word you give it, it highly affects its response, which I find quite annoying when I'm like trying to get it to review code or something. It can't give me a real response. It's always affected by what I gave it. And it's the same story with all the data you give it. And I'm finding that what you need to do is actually need to very incrementally have the AI so that it doesn't get this big picture and be affected, to clean data and process data and get it into shape very, impartially, it's not the right word, I just can't think of it right now, but so that, and then you build up the data and then you say, right, all the AI I've used before, go away. I don't want you to know what we did. And then you present that new clean data that you have shaped up to AI, and then your responses start becoming a lot more better.
What are we actually talking about here, though? Are we talking about AI or are we talking about significant others at home? I'm trying to...
So, small anecdote. So we've got ChatGPT Plus, whatever it's called, and the way you can talk to it in real time now, have conversations. So over the Christmas period, thank you, Sam. And Sam is my new god. They had a Santa Claus voice. So I've been using that with my son every morning, every night. And we'd call Santa and I'd say, oh, hey, Santa, it's Jake and Harry here. We just woke up and guess what? We slept in our own bed tonight, last night. How good's that? And then straight away, Santa go, ho. Oh, that is so fantastic to hear. Well done, Harry and Jake, for sleeping in your own bed. That's very exciting. You've been a good boy. I go, yes, he's been such a good boy. He deserves a big Paw Patrol toy this year. He goes, absolutely. And if he continues to sleep in his bed, he'll get the toy. I go, thanks, Santa.
Yeah, well.
So manipulative.
Oh, you don't have kids yet, Dave, but that's all a parent is, right? Manipulating a human AI to do what you want.
Anyway, that honestly allowed Harry to sleep in his bed for the first time the whole night in over 2 weeks. Couldn't get him in there. That simple ChatGPT conversation allowed him to sleep every morning. Hey, Daddy, can we call Santa? Can we tell Santa? Anyway, went to do it the other day. It was a seasonal AI voice. No more. Santa gone.
Oh, so now $5.99 per month.
I was literally going to tweet Sam and say, I'll pay more. Bring back Santa.
On a bit of a tangent, Duncan or Don, have you tried out any of the AI programming tools? Like, I've been using Replit, for example, over the Christmas break, which I was pretty blown away with. And I don't know if you know about it, but the general premise is you can give it an idea, for example, build me an app that does XYZ, and it actually just goes off and starts programming, and it's in a full web interface. The environment's basically running in the browser, so you can basically give it the prompts and chat back and forth like you're chatting with ChatGPT, but it's actually programming off to the side, and it's running and it's testing the application, and it's running it on its own server where you can go and test it real life. It was I used it for a few simple examples with our just internally. So with our sales team, for example, they've got a bit of a complex matrix to come up with how much a venue should be paying per month, per year, based on various different criteria. And over, like, rather than give it the entire problem at the start, I slowly built up requirements over time and tested various things. But I got it to a point where I've got a live application now I can send to the sales team and say, just type in your requirements and it'll spit out a price and you download it as a PDF. And like, I didn't code any of that.
There's just so many tools coming out, eh?
Yeah.
So my experience with code, I definitely have the AI write all the code now because I know that this is maturing and I can still write code, but I shouldn't be, and I must avoid not doing it. So yes, I use AI for code. The things I use, GitHub Copilot in VS Code is now the latest preview version can actually write your code and update your folder structures. It can write all your tests. It's pretty immature still, and it gets a lot of stuff wrong. And it uses GPT-4o. It's got access to the other newer models that are still in preview, like O1, I think it's called, an O1 Mini, which is supposed to have self-reflection. And then it's also got Claude Sonnet, I think. So yeah, but it's still, it doesn't just write programs for you. So it's not really agentic like what you're referring to, Replit. And then I've also tried a few of the open source stuff, projects that have been trending on GitHub, but that was more the year prior, so I'm way out of date. Otherwise, I just have my own prompt templates, use a very powerful chat AI tool called NextChat. If you haven't used it, check it out. It's very cool because you can manipulate the whole, if you can change who said what, edit the messages, because you know how it's influenced by what is in its sort of conversation history. You can pin stuff so that it doesn't start summarizing it and then the AI starts forgetting. A lot of the chat tools, you get this experience of, this is fantastic, this thing is amazing, and then all of a sudden it just goes, it forgets what the thread is, it starts getting stuff wrong, it doesn't really notify you that this is happening, but it's compressing messages because it's running out of tokens in its space. NextChat tells you quite obviously what has been summarized, when to summarize it, what's your token limits, and you can mess with the whole history. So check that out. It's called NextChat. It's an open source project. And you can plug in your own model. So if you've got Azure or OpenAI, you can use your own models and keys. You can also make it use local models like Local AI or Llama, so own hosted models. It also does real-time audio stuff if you've got the right model. So so I mainly just do that, and I tweak my sort of prompt templates. There's templating in there as well, which is what you showed us in the beginning of your screen share, where you can say, right, when the user says this, put it into a template and do more. Like, is this a problem or is it a piece of code? Then do this, then do that. It's also got plugins like DuckDuckGo search, which is free. It'll go and if you say something like search the internet for, it's going to generate a search phrase and go use DuckDuckGo, get a summarized response, and then give you later information. So check that out.
Nice.
Otherwise, so I do that. I like cut and paste code, refresh, get code that's working. And I use GPT-4 Mini mainly.
Yeah, nice. One of the coolest features of Replit that I found was...
I need to jump off. So...
Sorry. Good.
See ya.
Nice to meet you, Jake. Chat again
Likewise. You're so much nicer than what Don said. So.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
No, he sings your praises. Your praises. All right. Talk to you later. See you. Clean your room. See you. Bye.
Yeah, I was just going to say with Replit, one of the coolest features, I think, is you can give it screenshots and it can actually understand what's in the screenshot. So, for example, if you had a website that you liked and you like the styling, etc., you can give it a screenshot and say, hey, like build me a Shopify store that looks like this, but it's for selling shoes instead of selling, I don't know, XYZ. But the other thing it's really good for as well is as you're testing stuff in the kind of test application, if you come across an error on the screen, like a JavaScript error pops up, just screenshot the error and just give it to the agent and be like, hey, there's an error, like, can you go and fix it? And it's like, oh yeah, I can see there's a JavaScript error on line 68. I'm going to go and fix that now. And then it will just go and fix it without
No,
you having to like even describe what the issue
It's very
is. It's
cool.
just,
It's probably using a multimodal model like GPT-4o. So I do that too. Is like if I've got too many things, it's hard to describe a problem sometimes. So take a screenshot and say, okay, look at the screenshot, break it down. What do you see? It tells you, and then you can then go from there. So it saves you a lot of time. So that's a cool feature.
very
Something
cool.
does Replit build up like a manifesto or a set of requirements as it goes that it shares, or is it very black box?
It basically, when you give it the initial prompt, it basically comes back to you and says, okay, like here's how I've understood the task. Here are the requirements, bang, bang, bang. And then the other interesting thing it does is it's like, it gives you other suggestions of features that you could add on top. So it's like, okay, I understand you want to build a form that has calculations and an output to number and an output to PDF. Do you also want to add these additional features? So it like kind of understands it in that way. And then it keeps track of what features it has built from what you can basically say, yeah, I want to build that. And I don't want to build the other things.
Okay.
And it keeps track of the features that it has built on those initial requirements.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then once you've basically checked off all of them, it's like, okay, I've done all the requirements now. Do you want me to now start on like these other things, or should I just stop? So it's very, very cool.
Well, very interesting.
I've got to jump as well, but I'll touch base with you later, Duncan, and we'll organise a catch up. And Dave, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, all good.
What you've shared.
Keen to understand what you guys are doing as well. Like, always keen to share notes.
Well, why don't you go? I'll now that you've got from that last link with the emails, why don't you guys organise a time to catch up sometime and compare notes and
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes, no.
Yeah.
Happy to have a chat.
Organise a Zoom and
all
right, lads.
Okay.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that's the end of the episode. As I said at the beginning, would love to know your feedback on this format of sort of behind the scenes conversations. And if you're getting value out of it, would really appreciate if you could subscribe and like and share on LinkedIn to help us get the word of this little podcast out there. Anything you can do to help us, we'd really appreciate.